So hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss one critical question that someone, asked me. He came to me saying, if you want to join taxi business today, you have two options, especially for the investors. This one, I'm not talking to people who want to join as drivers. I'm speaking to people who want to acquire a vehicle and put it into taxi business for Uber, for Bolt, for Faras, all of them. So this guy came to me with one question. He told me, if you want to join this business and you want to buy a vehicle, then there are two available options. It's either you buy a second-hand vehicle or you go to the showroom or to the car yards and buy an ex-Japan, okay? A car that has been used in Japan for 8 years, and right now people are, importing 2018 vehicles. So vehicles manufactured in 2018. So his question to me was, Explore TV, please give me an advice. Should I buy a vehicle that has been used locally for 1 year, so it is a second-hand vehicle, or should I go to a showroom and buy our next Japan vehicle? And I told him we have to sit down and do the math, because at the end of the day, guys, let me tell you, if you are not a friend of a paper and a book, or a book and a pen, you will end up not making the right decision. So anytime you are confronted with such a question, always take a pen and a paper and ask yourself which avenue or which pathway will give you more money. Because if the guy could have considered going to buy an ex-Japan vehicle, right now you walk into any showroom, you will find that the vehicle he wanted to buy, which is a Daihatsu Mira. So Daihatsu Mira is, a 650cc engine capacity. It is very popular with taxi driving, but again, it is one of the most expensive 650cc vehicle. So it will not be priced like Suzuki Alto or Suzuki Wagon R or these other vehicles. So Daihatsu Mira is somehow reliable because I understand that Daihatsu is built by the same company that build Toyota vehicles, and they share a lot of components with with other Toyota vehicles like Toyota Pixies. So Daihatsu Mira is a bit expensive, and in the showroom or in the car yard, that gentleman was going to buy it for 900,000 from the showroom. That is a complete ex-Japan vehicle. But he was asking me, should he consider buying that vehicle from the showroom for 900,000, or he should go and buy a second-hand vehicle for 2016. The year of manufacture is 2016, and he was being sold at for 520,000. Okay, so there is this vehicle that is completely not used in Kenya. He's buying it for 900,000. There is this other vehicle here that has been used locally for, I would say, 1 year and a few months, and he's, someone is selling it to him for around 530,000. So when you do the difference, you are seeing there is a difference of around 370,000. Okay, from 900 and another one at 530. So a difference of a cool 750,000. So the guy, his appetite is not towards too much risk. So he was like, if I go to the showroom, at least I know what I am buying. I know I am buying a vehicle that has not been used locally, a vehicle that probably has lower mileage in terms of kilometers traveled, a vehicle that I am sure has not been used on the Kenyan roads, because Kenyan roads are sometimes very harsh, and also this vehicle has not been driven by an Uber driver, okay, because that is a very, very huge risk exposure. A vehicle that has been touched by an Uber driver in Kenya can depreciate its value by over 50%, by the way. By just you saying that this vehicle has never done Uber, you can sell it at a very good price. So that is what that guy was betting on, and he was ready to spend 900,000, okay, to go and buy a vehicle from the showroom. But again, showroom has also more advantages, because at least vehicles in the showroom, they are not being sold because they have an issue. But now let us now discuss this other side of a locally used vehicle. There are so many reasons as to which people sell vehicles that they have already used in Kenya. First of all, the top of mind, what people think about when you see someone selling their vehicle, is that it has a mechanical issue and they have been unable to fix it, and maybe they are looking to discard that vehicle. But from my experience, maybe only 1 out of 10 vehicle is being sold because it has a mechanical issue. A lot of other things, by the way, are pushing people to sell vehicles for reasons that are not related at all to any failure in mechanical functioning. So when we did the math, we said this is what we said. If you buy this locally used vehicle, probably it has traveled around 70,000 kilometers on the Kenyan soil, assuming that it was doing Uber. Because my assumption is that a vehicle that does Uber will travel a total of around 40 to 60,000 kilometers in a year if it is being used full time for Uber business. Okay, so the vehicle that he could have bought in the second-hand market will have a 60,000 kilometers on top of what it was imported at. Secondly, this vehicle probably could have some mechanical issues. Maybe that's why the owner is selling it. Thirdly, I mean, this vehicle, okay, definitely has traveled the Kenyan soil. Even if it does not have a current issue, it has depreciated. All right? But now when it came to us doing the math, we ended up concluding that this locally used vehicle could actually present more value to that guy in terms of money at the end of it all. Because we are saying the vehicle you are buying here at 530,000, you are saving 370k. But a guy has decided to go and buy now that new vehicle from the showroom. Let's say it had traveled 100,000 kilometers by the time it was being imported. So for you to recover the money that you have spent on top of the guy who went for the second-hand vehicle, it will have to travel 60,000 kilometers on the Kenyan soil. 60,000 kilometers, it will be 1 year. So it will have to travel maybe 1.5 years or 1 year, several months, so that you recover 370,000 from the profit. Because I told you guys, if your vehicle is in good condition, you give it to a driver, net profit will be between 250,000 to 300,000. So meaning, you who has gone to buy that new vehicle from the showroom, you will need around 1 year, several months. By the time that vehicle is paying the 370 gap that this other guy did not spend, will already be as old as the vehicle you are avoiding to buy. I'm not sure if I am making sense. And this guy who went there to buy his 520,000 vehicle, you for the next 1.5 years, you'll be chasing to close that gap. By the time you close that gap, this guy who bought this vehicle has already made his 370 saving. You are getting the 370 to close the gap. He has gotten his 370 to say towards his profitability. So if he bought it at 530, after 1.5 years, he has already made back his 370. So how much money is remaining before he breaks even? So it's around 150k, something around that. Okay, so in the next few months, the guy will have broken even. You, after 1.5 years, you need another few months, like he had his few months to break even from the 150k. You get my point? By the time you break even completely, your vehicle definitely will be as old as the one you are trying to avoid. So my advice is this one. I'm not saying that you guys go and buy a old vehicle, second-hand vehicle. If you have time, if you know the due diligence process of buying a second-hand vehicle, if you are patient to look for a good second-hand vehicle, because buying second-hand vehicle is a lot of work, is a lot of efforts, but you will save yourself money. And that's why people will rush to buy ex-Japan vehicles, extremely very expensive, and then they get disappointed along the way. While there are other people like myself who take a lot of time before I buy my next vehicle. I spend that time to do due diligence. Of course, I waste that time. Some people will say I waste time because it can take me even up to 5 months before I get a vehicle that I want, while someone else is making money. But the moment I get that vehicle that I want, I will have saved myself a lot of money. So ask yourself, which is the best way that you want to go? But always here I tell people, assess your risk appetite. Okay, if you are risk averse, go for the new vehicles, ex-Japans. If you want to take some bit of risk, and if you don't fall, you make a lot of money, come my way. Second hand is my way. It has worked, but it is hard work. Cheers and see you in my next video.